For 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Nuggets coach Michael Malone calling out his team after an embarrassing 145-118 loss to the Knicks. Most points scored by a visitor in a regulation game in Denver since April of 1991. Malone said he needs more from his starters, in particular in terms of leadership. He mentioned Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray by name specifically. Nuggets now a surprising 5-4 at home this season. They are back in action tomorrow night at Utah. After missing a couple of weeks with calf injuries, Suns stars Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal plan to return tonight against the Lakers. NFL former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, now an unrestricted free agent after clearing waivers officially. He's weighing his options, prefers to sign with a playoff contender. Potential destinations include the Ravens and Vikings. Latest college football playoff rankings unveiled tonight exclusively at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
3, 2, 1.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery. 256-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a tipsy Tuesday in a no man's land. And honestly, this Tuesday is a little bit more tipsy than that Monday, of course. Yesterday was a fun show. We had a lot to get into today. We're cramming a lot into one because, of course, there are only 3 days this week that we'll be doing our show until we get on into one of our favorite holidays, Thanksgiving. And I want to throw on a happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners across the WZZN airways. And make sure you guys also find us over on social media so you get the full perks of being a fan, being a listener, being a part of this family that is 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as WZZN Talk Radio.
97.7's like the Fast and the Furious. We're family.
Yeah, and we're doing it every single day, just like the Fast and Furious movies coming out every single year. Never gonna stop. 100 years of the Morning Blitz. If you guys want to join into the show, you can call the Bandy Man, aka our guy behind the glass, guy in the chair. 256-576-4.
97.7
is the number to get in. On top of that, you can also find us over on YouTube at WZZN TV. If you want to hop in the chat box, we encourage it, and you can join that ecosystem of crazy fellas that may or may not be looking at all of the high school lines going into, of course, the championship games, as well as the late playoff games. I don't even know where we are in the high school football scene at this point.
Semifinals.
Is 7A, I know they have one less round. Are they going into the championship games? I'm throwing that right at you.
No. So what we have now is semifinals across the board.
Okay.
So except for 7A, which is going into the championship game.
Okay, I was correct then.
No, you were nice. Correct on this. So like 7A is going to kick off everything. Like they get the first game in the Super 7.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, depending on the field they're playing on, they also get the best field conditions and things along those lines. You have 12 semifinal games happening this weekend.
Sweet.
And looking through, well, we got Mars Hill.
Okay.
We got Mars Hill.
Mark Sears? Anybody? No, wait, that's Muscle Shoals. Sorry, get mixed up with them.
We got Mars Hill.
We got
We
Mars
got
Hill.
Mars Hill. And
Oh.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. That is that.
Drudy Arman from Talking Ball will join us tomorrow at the beginning of the show to break down the high school playoffs, of course, in the North Alabama area. And then we're going to jump into some of the Iron Bowl conversation because already Joe's getting me up and at him because I see him come in here and he's rocking this ugly dark blue and orange Auburn jacket.
See, here's the truth: is Auburn's merch not that great, man? It's just not that great. I'm not a fan of the huge AU interlocking. Like, I'm just not a fan of
the
it.
classic eagle, though, you don't.
No,
like
no,
that?
no. I've got a
Okay.
few. I've got one or two of those T-shirts. But again, in this studio, when it's constantly a nice, beautiful 50 degrees inside of here, that I don't ever have much Auburn gear that I see and that I actually enjoy. So I say that just because I want to make sure that this week of all weeks, I'm going to be rocking the Auburn gear that I like because some of it. Oh, now you just need some patriotic, like some Auburn fight music behind it, and we're gonna be truly good to go.
I don't know how this is gonna look or how this even sounds, but you got that.
Hold on. This is the closest I can get.
Yes, it's close. You all right?
War Eagle.
No. And I appreciate Drew dropping that. I've got the Auburn thing behind me right now.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the first time this picture has been used in 17 years.
I got
Hold that tiger.
Okay, do you want me to flip a table right now? Do you want me to flip a table?
I mean, you
Okay.
can try flipping this
No.
table. It's a little heavy.
Look, there are 85 players, 15 some odd coaches and analysts heading to Tuscaloosa, and then Hugh Freeze. Like, we don't even count him. Like, he's on the sidecar of the bus heading up to Tuscaloosa right now. And that sidecar could possibly be in the other lane, and we're not going to skip a beat if somebody's coming our way. So that's the way that I'm feeling with this. But there's very few Auburn shirts and or sweatshirts that I actually like.
Gotcha.
I like the Auburn across the chest. And so, yes, I like that. And, I will say, though, as much as I bash Hugh Freeze, the sweatshirt that he was wearing Saturday night, the military one, I did like that one.
Okay.
I was a fan. I was absolutely a fan of that one.
I'll give you something. I think the striped blue and orange sweatshirts are pretty cool. The sweaters, the striped sweaters. I don't think that's a bad look. And if it's got the eagle on the chest,
Yeah.
I think that's like perfect for it. But it's again,
Do I look like a guy's going to wear a sweater vest?
you could.
No, I don't think
Not
I
with
will.
that haircut,
I
though.
know. I don't look like it. Like when Coach Watson gave me a polo, and we appreciated it deeply. I promise you, we
I
did.
love it, Coach.
It polo fits you.
Appreciate it.
Polo doesn't fit me. It's
That's not your style.
It's to quote a famous movie. It's really not in my will.
Joe,
It's just not.
the only things that fit you, I will say, and I'm not calling you fat or anything, are again jackets with hoodies. all right?
Jackets with hoodie. I'm a hoodie man.
Or hoodies with cutoff sleeves. I feel
Absolutely.
like any T-shirt with a cutoff sleeve, that's you.
I have a lot of cutoff T-shirts, and I actually have a lot of Auburn cutoff T-shirts.
Okay.
And I normally just wear them in the gym because I hate working out with sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, I just cannot do it. It
Gotta-
could be 15 degrees outside. I'm not working out with
You gotta
sleeves.
let
They're restricting.
the guns
Yes.
gotta breathe a little bit.
Yes. And so what I always do is, especially for my workout shirts, I'll get one size up and then just cut the sleeves off.
Okay.
So yes, you have chosen correctly whenever you were describing my attire. And so now whenever I go to a store that's got Auburn and Alabama gear, because my wife's Alabama, so this week is very stressful. And
you're also in a room with
and I'm also in a room with this. This week's going to be a little stressful for me. It's just going to be a little bit stressful, but I at least, there's some Auburn gear I like, but not much.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that. There's not that many.
I mean, at the very least, you may be worrying about Auburn on the football front a little bit, but I mean, you got nothing to worry about on the hardwood whatsoever.
I will tell you right now, that game in Maui last night,
Ooh.
you want to talk about double birds in the air to anybody that wants to talk smack about Auburn right there. There's no way on earth you can talk smack. They were down 18 points.
Yeah.
18 points. And they couldn't even keep the ball in their own hands because they kept turning it over. Then in the second half, I think they started 5 of 6, 6 of 7. And Iowa State couldn't even score for like their first 7 or 8 shots, and Auburn got back into it. Oh, there was a point in time where I'm literally watching, and Boom, Auburn nails a 3. Boom, Iowa State nails a 3. Boom, Auburn comes down and gets a layup. Boom, Iowa State comes back with a 3. Then Auburn with, it's boom, 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 boom. And I'm just thinking this thing's happening in a high school gym in the middle of the island, in the middle of the Pacific. Maui is getting excited. Maui, by the way, Maui Invitational, let's talk about this. How on earth have you seriously missed the opportunity with what is coming out in 24 hours to not have the Maui Invitational sponsored by the movie Moana?
He knows. He knows exactly.
That's coming out in 24 hours?
Yes, it comes out tomorrow.
At 9?
Wow, really?
Yes, it comes out tomorrow. Trust me, I'm taking both the kids, the wife, we're all going to this. No, here's the thing, okay? Nobody's ever known this about me, okay? I've shared this story a few times off the air, but never on the air. When I first started working in Nashville, my son wanted to wish me good luck. And at the time, he was like 2 years old.
Okay.
So he was a massive, massive fan of Moana. Okay. Like as in the movie would finish and he would then turn around and say, let's start it over. Let's run it back.
Yep.
Okay. So have either of you seen the movie?
A long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a little bit.
Okay. So Maui, again, Maui Invitational here. What does Maui need to be Maui?
Wasn't it the the hook thing?
It's the hook.
Oh, yeah,
that's exactly
the
what it is.
Hook, the shiv.
It's his hook that he had. So we had bought my son the toys. Okay. So my son goes, "Hey, Dad." He said, "Daddy," because it's adorable and I love it. He says, "Hey, Daddy." He goes, "Maui has his hooks for good luck. Here is your hook."
Oh,
he wasn't
good luck.
capping. He wasn't capping.
No. So I have literally carried this hook around with me every single day since April of 2021. Okay. It is whenever I get one of my first tattoos, it is going to be this hook on my wrist right here. This is the Maui hook. I keep it with me at all times whenever I'm working for good luck because it's what my son gave me.
Just don't fall on your pocket weird.
I know.
That'll go in your leg.
I will not be saying you're welcome.
Yeah.
But that being said, you missed a perfect opportunity to promote this. You had the Maui Invitational. You have Maui. You could have the Rock there, every bit of it. But even that being said, this game between Auburn and Iowa State was so incredibly fun to watch because it felt like an Elite Eight basketball game happening in a high school gym.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Honestly, just as a whole, like this Maui Invitational so far, like that first day kicking off yesterday was insane.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I want to throw the question out to you guys. Do you prefer these games being played in a smaller arena, like a high school gym? Or would you rather see them in those grand stadiums that we've seen out west, like the Arizonas or the Las Vegas?
Small high school gym.
The energy just feels insane.
This is real ball.
Well, no, this makes me. This is what college basketball is. Like this makes me think of college basketball because if Auburn and Iowa State are playing in this high school gym, which I understand, it's the Maui Invitational. It's a massive tournament. It has a ton of legacy involved with it. I mean, heck, Auburn tonight's playing North Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean, it's happening at about midnight, but I mean, they're playing in North Carolina. I mean, it's going to be a massive basketball game, but this leads to now when you do get into the Elite Eights, the Final Fours, and you're playing in the United Center or you're playing in the Superdome or wherever it is, it makes that mean a little bit more. If we go ahead and just jump to that, then it doesn't have that vibe. Like the great thing about Auburn Arena, even though it is smaller than a lot of the other arenas in the SEC, is the intimate atmosphere that makes it feel more intense when all the fans get going.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it more fun. So having this where everybody seriously felt on top of each other. I mean, look, the Maui Invitational puts bleachers wherever they possibly can just to get as many people into this arena at one point in time. And it truly feels like everybody is on top of each other just watching this basketball game. And it is fun.
And I feel like there's no bad view. Me and Bandy, of course, we were able to do the Buckhorn basketball games and just being inside of the Buckhorns arena to call some of those games. They get packed out quite a bit. Then we go down to Birmingham for that matchup. You can't fill the entire arena, but you do get to fill a majority of that bottom row. And I will say, it felt like it was a high-level college basketball game whenever Buckhorn was playing up against some of these opponents in the Final Four. Now, that's an awesome experience, and we love to see it. And you were talking about that intimacy, and that gets me thinking, And I don't want to transition too quickly because we do want to talk a little bit more about this Auburn game. I mean, Jonai Baroom, Dylan Cardwell looking like an absolute beast.
Chad Baker Mazzara was hands down the reason why Auburn came back in the second half, because he had a lot of foul trouble in the first half. And the moment he came back on the court, that man, I'll tell you, the changing play in this, even though Auburn was coming back, was the 4-point play.
Yeah.
He makes the 3-pointer on the right wing. When he makes it, he then gets fouled on it. He follows it up with the free throw. He gets Auburn to within 3. That was hands down the biggest play. And look, to put into perspective the size of the arena that they're playing in, which is the Lahana Civic Center, it only holds, and the attendance for last night was 2,400 people.
Wow.
Okay. Now, to kind of put that in perspective around the Tennessee Valley, Spraggins Hall at UAH only holds 2,500. So just think that's the arena that they were basically playing it in. To add to it, you look at the A&M Civic Center, that holds over 6,000. So this was, again, just looking at the venue that they were playing at, that kind of helps you with your mind, if you've obviously been to those two arenas, to see how small this venue is, but also what adds to the fun of the Maui Invitation.
Well, I want to know, since we talk plenty about the Huntsville Havoc and the amount of sellouts that they have, you know it better than anybody else because you used to work at the VBC. How many seats are there in the VBC?
So I want to say 8,100 is the number that I normally would see.
Gotcha.
So I'm wanting to double check before I said anything wrong with this, but seating capacity is 9,000.
Okay.
And that is basically nothing in the way of anything.
Yeah.
And you also have all your risers are put out. So imagine, let's just say, for instance, because they don't ever take up much space when they come, would be like, say, WWE doing a house show.
Yeah.
Okay. They have the ring in the middle. They have the light on top of it. They have a little bit of an entranceway that's really not taking up anything. And then the rest of the arena is made up of seats. That's how you get to your potential 9,000 that the VBC could get.
I think the wrestlers were coming out of the same tunnel as we did when we graduated.
That's awesome.
And so that and the VBC's changed a little bit, kind of what it is, but 8,300 is kind of where you'll kind of sit at. The 9,000 is really going to be pushing it to see if you could even really get 9,000.
The reason I bring that up is because, guys, if you've been following this Memphis Tigers basketball team, you've known that they're going on a little bit of a run, 5-0 on the season, and that includes last night's win over UConn, who is ranked number 2 right now. Remember back whenever we saw that scrimmage matchup, Alabama versus Memphis, and we were thinking, wow, this Memphis team's giving Alabama a run for their money. Well, we also talked about how good this Memphis team could be, and they're currently doing just that as they won 99-97 last night in UConn. It was actually in La Gila.
It was in Maui.
Yeah, it was a Maui Invitational. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Hurley was not happy.
Yeah.
Hurley was not happy.
He was wearing he had his little his Hawaiian shirt. It was a polo, but it was a Hawaiian shirt on, and he was yelling all over the place. You love to see
but there is, like, again, like, rest in peace to him, man. Like, there is not a game last night that I wanted to see Big Bill Walton on more than that UConn Memphis game.
I got you.
Because that last 40 seconds, Hurley himself getting a technical call for how he reacted to another personal foul, which then led to 4 straight made Memphis free throws, which gave him a 4-point lead in overtime, or about to go into overtime. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, this one
he is not, like, he is probably still seething from that loss.
Yeah, this one went deep into overtime as the teams matched their points in the first and the second, and it was just a wonderful matchup that went all the way through. So love to see everything that's going down in Maui right now, because that's where I think a lot is happening in the college basketball, and we do have a caller on that's definitely going to talk a little bit more about it. But we're going to hop into a break. When we get back, getting into a little bit more of the basketball talk just to clean that out of the way, and then hopping into a little bit of the college football playoffs and, of course, some more of this Iron Bowl trash talk. That's what's coming up when we get back here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, our focus is to always offer you the perfect combination of good times and great food. And when you're ready for a great meal, or when it's just time to take a break from all the holiday hustle and bustle, come into Bad Daddy's and enjoy one of our premium award-winning Angus beef burgers, signature cocktail, or a cold draft beer. From all of us at Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we hope you have a safe and happy holiday season. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Buckhorn Youth Sports was created in 2018 to provide kids in our community the ability to compete at every sport possible. We offer football, flag and tackle, cheer, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, baseball, and softball. You can find us on Facebook at Buckhorn Youth Sports, where we prepare the future. Buckhorn Youth Sports is a proud supporter of Buckhorn High School football. Go Bucks!
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to drop into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. Temperatures climb into the low and mid 60s Wednesday afternoon. For the most part, we're talking about a mostly cloudy to overcast sky with dry conditions. Good news, if through Wednesday afternoon you're going to be traveling about the Tennessee Valley, getting last minute shopping done, or maybe to go see family and friends for the holiday. The bad news is that the rain builds into the area as we head into the later part of Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Unfortunately, it looks like rain is going to stick with us through a good chunk of the day on Thanksgiving. We're going to be reasonably warm on Thanksgiving, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. The rain comes to an end as we head into the overnight and then early into your Black Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Hey, with my black Air Force today. Turn this off! I didn't know this is an actual real song. That's a real song.
It's a real song.
He says mustard to start it out. What did he say?
It's music, man.
Yeah, he says mustard to start the song out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just part of the song. It's not the very beginning.
He said
it is not the first thing he says.
Fine.
He says a few other things and then he starts screaming mustard.
Yeah, that's like halfway into the song.
I guess I don't know music. All right, maybe I just don't get it. All right, jeez. Either way, welcome back.
Grandpa over here doesn't get music, man. I mean, go on.
Welcome into the craziest show, I guess, on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester. We were talking a little bit about that Auburn victory last night, as it's huge. I mean, on top of course, their win against Texas A&M. I mean, right now, being an Auburn fan probably feels pretty nice. Look, I mean, outside of, thinking that your quarterback or your coach is Hugh Freeze, but
I mean, it's outside of that. Like, I mean, we've just accepted our fate with him, at least through the next two games. I'm sorry, next game. And so like with this right here, look, I tell you guys, and I've said this numerous times, I'm not into basketball just yet, but then eventually I start to come around.
I'm sorry. Do wins like this get you a little bit more into basketball?
Games like this, not win or loss. Games like this, like I want. Then the reason why I don't get into a lot of college basketball until we start getting into like bowl season is because majority of the games historically have been, your university at home versus POSU.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care. Like, okay, cool. You've learned you can beat these teams by 30 points. Like if I go to your calendar and your first 10 games are at home because you've scheduled a bunch of crap games, then no, like I want to see these tournaments. I want to see like with what Alabama's doing tonight. Yeah. I want to go and turn on the television and watch a top 25 matchup between two really good teams where I don't have to wait until conference play and or the tournament. Like this gets me into college basketball a lot quicker than just your regular schedule. A couple of tune-up games and then boom, let's start getting into these tournaments and these big matchups. I love the ideas of going to the home courts. Like I know this was at the Maui Invitational and I know Alabama is playing at the MGM tonight, but I want to see these on their home courts. Like thinking about, we have the ACC challenge and everything coming up. Like just thinking about Auburn or Alabama going to UNC or Duke having to come to Alabama or Auburn, like those types of games, I'm going, okay, now you've got my attention. Like this is where I'm going to be excited about this, and I want to see this.
And I see exactly where you're coming from, but I will say a little bit of the intrigue from the Maui Invitational or the MGM game that we're going to see tonight, of course, on our airways. Alabama facing off against a Houston team that Auburn has already visited.
And Alabama better win, but tonight, by the way. Because Auburn already beat Houston in Houston. Yeah. It's your turn now.
There's going to be a little bit of a shift in the AP poll if we see Alabama drop this one. But regardless, there is going to be a little bit of a turnaround. But I will say, I like seeing these different types of courts, these different types of arenas that these teams play in. But the energy would be just a little bit better, I feel like, if they were in the Coleman Coliseums or if they were in Alabama or Auburn or out in Houston. Like that matchup, Alabama-Purdue, wonderful, just because of the environment that it's in, and it made it so much more tough for Alabama to get the win. And obviously they didn't, but still, it's going to challenge them for games moving forward.
Is it just me, or is basketball, college basketball, the easier of the sports to recreate your atmosphere in a different arena? Because think about it. Like the one thing I hate about the college football playoff is the fact that at some point in time you get the bowl game bye, and you've got to go to some neutral site game where it's 50-50, and it's like, oh, the pageantry of the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Like, okay, that's great. All right,
go to Coastal Carolina for a bowl game?
That's what I'm saying is it's really hard to create the college football atmosphere at a neutral site or at a bowl game.
Yeah.
That game last night, it felt like an intense college basketball game because of how crazy that 2,400 people that were in the arena felt. Like between Auburn fans and Iowa State fans, and you even had North Carolina fans still there. Like it was all of those, that fandom. It seemed that intense, whereas you obviously don't get that with baseball because there's very few places that have that baseball atmosphere that you can kind of create. Texas A&M is one of those. But seeing that, it almost felt like, you know what? I was okay with this game being in Maui.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just that it's in Maui. It's not just a neutral site. Like literally, Auburn had to take like a 12-hour flight just to get here. And the biggest success was it landed without incident. I mean, it was a big win just for them to get to the island. That's why this is cool. Like I sat there and I thought, you know what? I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I was okay with the atmosphere last night. It was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because it could stay just as loud, even though you might have a different fan base in the arena. But I mean, if you're seating 2,500 people, 2,400 people, that arena is going to get as loud as it could be if you pack it. And that's exactly what it was at last night. As we hop back into the phone lines, we talk with a good friend. Natty Dan is on with us. Natty Dan, how you doing, man?
Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
We are doing
good, man.
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. You know, I'm going to do my wacky underdog pick right now, bro.
Very smart man. We only have 3 days, 2 days now. So jump in.
I was gonna take the Michigan Wolverines, but we played really good last week, and the quarterback is doing a lot better. But I'll tell you what, Bourne, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ohio State's got something to prove, and I think they're pissed off in the last 3 years. So, I don't think there's enough points. I think they're really gonna. I think they're gonna pummel us.
No,
and I'm not taking Alabama. In the Alabama-Auburn game, I just don't know about that one. I just don't know who's going to show up. But I think Ohio State's definitely going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Thursday night game. I'm going with Memphis.
Okay.
Tulane.
That is not a bad pick. Tulane's a 14.5-point favorite in this. Memphis coming in 9-2. That is a really good pick.
Yeah, and I think it actually holds a little bit more merit too, because Tulane is actually looking at a playoff spot. If they're able to win out, and if things kind of fall into their lap, they could possibly be in as that group of 5 team.
Well, and part of this with Tulane as well is the fact that they've already secured their playoffs, or not their playoff spot, but their conference championship spot. They know that them and Army are going to play each other, and then you have Memphis. It's like, look, man, we can still get to a 10-win season, and that's amazing. Let's not forget that. I mean, just in that conference themselves, even having a 10-win season is fantastic. It's just getting overshadowed by what Army has been doing all year.
Well, and in closing, fellas, I'm getting all this all prepped up, all my food, man. I cooked my butt off. My mom was a very good cook and baker, and I learned a lot from her. But I do realize on a turkey there's 2 drum legs. All right, I know there's only 2, and I'm gonna take it easy on my friend Bama Brad, but I'll beat him over the head, the Bears, with 1 leg. All right, now, and I won't hit him with 2. I'll hit him with just 1.
Oh, I thought you were about to add some more and do a turducken. That's what I thought you were about to go with.
Ain't no turducken. I'm just gonna hit him with a bunch of. I'm gonna hit him with the 1 leg instead of 2 because we're gonna pummel him. Lions lock. It's a lead pipe lock. They win.
All right. Well, we like that pick, but we're more intrigued by that Memphis Tulane game, as you would get 14 points if Memphis does get the dub.
Don't tell anybody I did that. Okay. I'll see you later.
Yeah, we won't tell anybody. Appreciate you, Natty Dan. Always great for you to get in. We won't tell anybody. My lips are sealed. Joe's lips are sealed. Bandy's lips are sealed.
I'm sealed.
I never said mine were sealed.
The guys over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, they are not worried about any of that.
They'll show up
because they're worried about, of course, getting you guys set up for, of course, the weather that will be coming throughout, of course, the winter.
Dude, it was already coming through last night.
I know. It came out of nowhere.
My power went out twice last night. We were already kind of chilling anyway. I was almost half asleep, so it really wasn't affecting me at all. I just knew it because the fan turned off.
Yeah, regardless.
But power went out multiple times last night when it was coming through.
But your roof.
My roof was fantastic.
Your roof was fantastic.
It was solid.
And that's because you had the guys from Fleming Roofing and Restoration on the job. The guys that you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. I'm trying to get you guys to do it.
We were letting you roll.
You guys do it with me.
We were letting you roll. It was like, bro, go do your thing.
That's the one time I'm fine with you guys talking, not just over me, but with
me. We were saying, hey, man, here is your platform. This is what you do. Okay. We're okay, and we trust what you say.
I got you.
You're not DeMarcus Riddick. You're not coming out and just randomly saying things where half of a fan base is going, oh, crap.
Yeah, why? I do want to hop into that, and you guys can as well. 256-576-4977 is the number to hop in.
Gonna go with us.
The one thing I want to queue up with that, and I know I could probably tell you off this at the same time as I do. Okay, I've been starting to do this. When I say 4, you say 4. Okay, when you say 4, I say 4, and then Bandy finishes it off. All right.
Okay.
So okay.
By the way, Tom now pauses after the 4, and I almost hop in on the 977 every single time because he pauses every time he says 4.
That's just
now
the way he sets it up.
He does.
That muscle memory is kicking in on talking ball too. Like Scott will say, is like call in 256-576-4977. But I'm thinking like, wait, no, different show.
So yes, if you missed it, DeMarcus Riddick met with the media yesterday as Auburn obviously getting ready for the Iron Bowl, and he was asked about not just the Alabama game, the Iron Bowl, but also Ryan Williams, and here's what DeMarcus Riddick had to say.
Ryan Williams is Ryan Williams. I mean, yeah, he's electric. He's all this and that, but in my eyes, he ain't really nobody to me. Ryan Williams is himself. He ain't no big time player to me. Like I said, Bama is a big rival team. Every rival team I played, I never lost to. I will not lose to Bama while I'm here. I mean, he is a good quarterback. He's fast, but I mean, he's not faster than me. I'm pretty used to that. Like, he will not get out that box this week.
I'm not going to dog the guy for saying what he said.
No.
But at the same time, why would you say it? You're going into Tuscaloosa.
Okay, so let me ask you. Let me ask both of you guys.
But it's also kind of
no, that's was it. Do you think he should have said it? Yes or no? Like in your beliefs, when you're looking at what he said in this week, in this situation, you're an Auburn team that's coming in with a losing record right now. You're trying. If you win, you get to a bowl game. You may even be able to get to a bowl game anyway. Yeah. Depending on how good your GPA is. But you are now in a situation where you are coming in with momentum. Auburn is doing that where Alabama is like, what the heck? Our quarterback, he was throwing a wide receiver screen, yet the only players over there were Oklahoma players, and he threw it right to him. Like, you have those incidents. Yeah. And so both fan bases now are in this weird situation. Riddick says this, obviously not holding back. What do you guys think?
I got to admit, all right, I'm all for a little bit of that heated, trash talk that they're going to throw at each other. But with Auburn and the situation that they have right now, going in and they have a chance to upset the Tide, late in this season, they already saw, of course, the competition last week, a similar competition in Oklahoma do just that. That was in Norman. This is in Tuscaloosa. You're going to be dogging the wide receiver that had the amount of success that he had against that Oklahoma team. I think Ryan Williams is going to be a huge factor in this football game. I think he's going to have a touchdown, and I think it's going to be similar to the ways that he's done it against Georgia, the way that he almost did it against Oklahoma, and the ways that he did it against Vanderbilt, where he's throwing guys off of him and pushing his way into the end zone. So for him to say this, I think it's going to actually work against the Auburn Tigers, and this Alabama team is going to be a little bit more rejuvenated whenever these Tigers come into their stadium. And on top of that, there's still a chance the playoffs are in view for the Tide.
No,
so I don't see them giving up just because it's the end of the season and that bad loss against Oklahoma last week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit in the same position, but I mean, if you're asked about it, you're asked about Ryan Williams and like how you're going to be going up against him. I mean, you're an Auburn player. I mean, I'm not going to be sitting there.
You're an Auburn player. I mean, trash talk, dude. You're an Auburn player.
But as an Auburn player, I wouldn't be there being like, oh yeah, this guy's a superstar. He's a stud. Like it's going to be tough cover him. Like, no, I'm going to defend my team. I'm going to defend my boys.
Yeah.
And be like, no, we're going to lock him down. No. Like he ain't nothing. Like we're going to lock him down. Like it's just typical. You're in a rivalry. It's rivalry week. They ask you about an opposing player. He's going to stand up for his team, stand up for his bros.
It's interesting, though, because it is that trash talk from the player's perspective. And we've gotten it before in the past, but it's never been so vocalized or so mediatized, I'd say, to where we get to really hear about it. And I think there was something that was said on Talk of Ball where it's really the fans that build a lot of the hate back and forth. And when we wait to see what this actual play on the field it shows, and right here, it's just fueling the fire for this Alabama team to be like, oh, he's a factor.
I also do believe that there's a factor in the fact that you didn't hear a lot of trash talk when there was a certain head coach on the sideline in Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. There just hasn't been. Okay. Like it was very rare that you heard the trash talking. It was also obviously, a lot of players and coaches didn't speak before games. So that's the reason why you didn't hear much of it outside of what Nick Saban was saying. But I also think that this Auburn team is kind of like the rest of the SEC, and it's, oh, hey, Daddy's gone now, so we can we're not as scared as what we used to be to come into the house, and so I think that is part of it. The other part is look, man, if this is who DeMarcus Riddick is, bro, be you. You've got sacks in back-to-back games. You had tackles and the 25 tackles so far. I know you're not technically a starter, but if this is who you are, you be who you are. But you also have to understand that now when you come into and you step on that field on Saturday, whether it's in warmups, whether it's in the game, whether it's walking to the tunnel during halftime, whether it's after the game, you're going to have tens of thousands of Alabama fans looking for number 16. Now, look, I'm not saying this as a threat.
No.
I'm not saying this is because if you are a player that loves to talk smack, and one of my closest friends is one of these guys, like I'm telling you, Ron Slay loved talking smack to anybody and everybody that he absolutely could. He was that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not. I never talk smack until after.
Yeah.
Well, no, until after, because it threw my game off. Whereas with Slay, it helped his game because it helped him focus more, because he's like, look, if I'm going to talk this crap, then I'm going to have to go out there and back it up. And so he gets more focused.
Mm-hmm.
This may be exactly what Riddick is, but he has to understand now. There's a phrase that I will never forget. It was Game 6 of the World Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Cleveland Indians. It was the 6th inning. It was David Justice up to bat, and he hits a home run to go up 1-0 against the Cleveland Indians in Game 6. The night before, right before the Braves got back into Atlanta, or when they did get back into Atlanta, he told Atlanta reporters that, like, dude, Cleveland's killing it. Like, this fan base, like, I wish our fans were this loud. I wish they were this way. And so Game 6, everybody came out to him, and they were just, like, booing him and loud, and they're like, hey, man, we're here. Mm-hmm. You wanted us here? We're here. And he hits this home run to go up 1-0. And right when he touched home plate, I'd never forget, it was Bob Costas that says, if you're going to talk the talk, then you better walk the walk. Yeah. That's the same thing with DeMarcus Riddick. I am totally okay with you talking this trash if you are going to back it up on Saturday, because the moment you get on that field, it is now the time where you have to prove Ryan Williams ain't nothing. Cool. Lock him down. Yeah. Jalen Milroe isn't nothing. Cool. Lock him down. Because if you don't, it's about to get used against you. And I'm not striking fear, because if you're scared of it, then you shouldn't say it. Yeah. So in that scenario, if he wants to say this, dude better come out and light the world up on Saturday. Yeah. I am totally okay with my players talking like this if they're going to come up and they're going to back this up. If they're not going to back it up, shut your mouth and just play the game. But if you have the balls to back it up, then you step on the field, you say what you're going to say, and then you back it up. Do it. Yep. That's all I'm saying. Do it.
He said just that. He said literally just that. And I'd love to see him back it up as well. Well, at the same time, I wouldn't. But at the same time, it would make for a really good story to see him actually come up clutch, unlike, of course, a wide receiver the other day that bashed the Browns even after they lost. But I'm not going to.
Yeah, Browns really aren't that good.
That much. But I will say, this is opening up a door for, these players to talk a little bit more trash about this Alabama team, because they've been held up on a pedestal for so long. And, of course, Nick Saban, he had them up on this pedestal. But now people are seeing them bleed, and they're bleeding a little bit of crimson. And now that trash talk is going to start trickling through the dam that is starting to shatter. And I don't know exactly when it's going to be fixed, but I think it's going to have to start in Bryant-Denny Stadium with a win for Kalen DeBoer. 11.5 points. Alabama is favored in this game. I'm not going to say don't go against Alabama, because what we saw last week might have been a predecessor to this game. 11.5 points if Auburn gets this win for your wacky underdog picks. 256-576-4
97.7
is the number to get in on the show.
Yeah, this team's just so unpredictable, man.
It is. I mean, both of these teams are. That's what makes it so tough about predicting this upcoming matchup. But we're going to try and do it for you when we get back. A little bit more predictions, as well as the phone lines here on the Morning Blitz.
And
what?
Sorry,
you're good.
We also have breaking news.
Okay, I like breaking news.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This action update is brought to you by GBank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/GBank.
Thanksgiving week NFL this Thursday. The Bears visit the Lions. Chicago winless in 4 road games. The Lions 10-1, riding a 9-game winning streak on top of the NFC North. Detroit's an 11-point favorite on Thanksgiving Day. Dallas favored by 4 at home on Thursday when they take on the Giants. The Cowboys still looking for their first home win of the year. Thursday night, Green Bay's a 3-point favorite at home against the Miami Dolphins. The Packers have wins in 2 straight. 1 game on Friday, it'll be the Chiefs hosting the Raiders. Kansas City 5-0 at home, 10-1 overall, favored by 13.5. Vegas 2-9 on the season, 1-5 away from home. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's game development team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go Higher and go Army.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
We're studying game film,
Seems to me there's more to college than just hitting the books.
scribbling X's and O's, even running wind sprints to get our voices in shape. All this for our coverage of college football just for you.
Just leave it to the professionals.
From spring drills to hoisting the national championship trophy. When you want football, you want 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to drop into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. Temperatures climb into the low and mid 60s Wednesday afternoon. For the most part, we're talking about a mostly cloudy, overcast sky with dry conditions. Good news, if through Wednesday afternoon you're going to be traveling about the Tennessee Valley, getting last minute shopping done, or maybe to go see family and friends for the holiday. The bad news is that the rain builds into the area as we head into the later part of Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Unfortunately, it looks like rain is going to stick with us through a good chunk of the day on Thanksgiving. We're going to be reasonably warm on Thanksgiving, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. The rain comes to an end as we head into the overnight and then early into your Black Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back in to the morning Blitz. Already got things rocking and rolling here on Tipsy Tuesday in No Man's Land. Again, phone lines are open to you. 256-576-4.
97.7
is the number to get in. And if you're not a fan of talking on the phone, that's understandable. Hop over to our WZZN TV YouTube channel and utilize that chat box to the left of us. And you can say whatever you want in there. I'm not going to hold you to it.
No, you absolutely can. And it's going to be a scenario where just like, hey, look, man, you do what you want to do.
But the extent of what you're able to say on the phone lines is, beating somebody with a turkey leg. And this upcoming caller got said thread. It's not serious, but Bama Brad, I need to know your rebuttal on what Natty Dan had to say.
Okay, well, first of all, let me start out with this. I like the trash talk in the Auburn kid. I wish everybody on Alabama would trash talk.
Okay.
I'm ready to see a little bit of fire. If you don't have any confidence in yourself, then you don't have any business out there anyway. So I have no problem with him trash talking. Now he's got to back it up on the field.
Absolutely.
But I have no problem. I have no problem with that. Now, as far as my buddy Natty Danny, I can't trash talk because I'm a Bears fan. But, you know, I'm guessing from what he said, he's talking about they could beat us with one leg tied behind their back. I just want to remind him our record is better than the Tennessee Titans.
Hey.
Our record is better than the Carolina Panthers. And you know, the Titans did win, and the Carolina Panthers almost won. Yeah. So, you know, I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know what this wacky underdog thing is. I usually turn you guys on about 9 o'clock now and start listening, but I'm late to the game. I'm late to the game. So I'm going to take Georgia Tech, and it doesn't really matter what the wacky underdog prize is. I just want to beat Natty Dan.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you hopping in, and that would be 19.5 points if Georgia Tech does get the win against the Georgia team that honestly was struggling even last week against, what was it, UMass? I mean, UMass scored 21 on them.
Georgia Tech should dominate in time of possession. So, you know, it's going to keep the ball away from Georgia. So, and I'm not a Georgia hater. I just think Georgia Tech's going to control the time on the clock and keep the points, you know, points down.
All right. Well,
that's my theory.
Okay, Bama Brad. Well, we can get you down for that one, and don't worry, you're not really too late to this game. As halfway through the season, we actually adjusted it to where anybody could get in, and with that 19.5 points, if Georgia Tech wins, that would honestly get you right back in it. Honestly, it would get you the lead in the second half of this challenge.
Well, like I said, my only goal is to beat Natty Dan.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, what you just said was cool and all. I just want to beat him. That's what I'm basically trying to tell you.
Welcome to the wacky underdog picks, where the points don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
All right, thank you too. And if you've just hopped in and you want to know about the wacky underdog picks, we obviously have already given away the midway prize that we did for halfway through the season for the leader of that. But the purpose of the wacky underdog picks is for you to call in 256-5764-977 with your pick of an underdog that you believe is going to win. If your underdog does win, we are keeping a tally of what everybody picks, and at the end of the season, we will have a second half winner. We will also have an overall winner, and in every single game. So if you pick a game where the underdog is 5.5 points and they win, and then the next week you pick an underdog that is 3 points, then and they win, then you now have 8.5 points in this. So that's kind of the basis in which we were talking about. Now we've got more phone calls that are coming in, but I did say during the break or before the break that there is breaking news. North Carolina is going to be looking for a brand new head coach after the season, as the Tar Heels are announcing that Mack Brown will not return in 2025. He will still coach the game on Saturday against NC State, in that they have not decided yet or not that if Brown will coach in a bowl game for UNC. So that is just now coming out from Chapel Hill. Obviously, it's going to be a point of discussion tonight as well during the broadcast, as North Carolina and Auburn are going to be playing. That game is tipping off super late, as it is going to be tipping off at 10 o'clock, and you'll be able to watch that on ESPN.
Yeah, I'll be asleep by then.
Dude, right. I was as well. I had to watch every bit of that this morning.
The only reason that I stayed up so late just 2 nights ago was because I got on the Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm just kidding. I got on that Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I'm about to say, like, way up.
And I played a little bit of zombies. And you could play that game for probably 12 hours straight. It's that fun. I played for 2 hours, and then I checked my phone, and I thought I was only playing for 30 minutes, and then it was already too late for me.
Yeah. It's like once you hit that round 30, man, like, it's tough.
You hit round 30?
I've made it around 50.
Golly, Bandy. Golly.
Crazy. I'm just over here playing Japanese baseball.
He's
guys.
the gamer. He's the gamer of the group.
But I'll tell you that, like, I was looking up just an article to see what Mack Brown's record and all that was at North Carolina. I mean, and he ended off with a 44-32 record,
yeah,
five bowl appearances, but got a little bit of a typo here from CBS.
What do we got?
Last time I checked, North Carolina is not in the SEC.
Unless they know.
Hold up,
something
give it a
we
few
don't.
hours. Hold up a couple hours, okay?
I mean, they saying something we don't know yet.
I mean, just hold up, all right?
That is very strange. But I will say, UNC, I mean, coming off of last season, you had Drake May. You go back even farther, you still have Drake May. I mean, you have a lot of talent with this team. And then just this season, of course, the NIL, the transfer portal didn't do them too well. And then they go in, and you saw everybody, I feel like, saw that James Madison matchup that really just changed the trajectory of this team's outlook, losing that one, of course, 70-50. And they were still able to be challenging throughout the season, but it was never that challenge that really made up for, of course, the shortcomings into this season.
I think the best way to describe what Mac Brown's tenure at North Carolina is it was a passion project. Like, he started off at North Carolina. He then goes to Texas. He wins the national championship. He makes another national championship. And then eventually after he is let go from Texas, he goes, you know what, let me go back to my university that's looking for a head coach and trying to kind of right the ship of the university that kind of gave me my start. And after what Larry Fedora had, and you can even go back to Butch Davis and Everett Withers. Like, obviously he hasn't won an ACC championship game. He hasn't done anything along those lines, but
so close.
But and that being said is right now they're going to a bowl game this year. They have been to a bowl game every single year that Mac Brown has been the head coach there. And honestly, looking back through the history of North Carolina football, it is very hard to find a phrase, or I should say a phase of time in a set of years where North Carolina was this good outside of when Mac Brown was the head coach, because even when he was the head coach for North Carolina the first time and he left eventually after the 97 season, is because he was winning and went to a bowl game from 1990 all the way through 1996. Yeah. So this Mac Brown for this North Carolina team, even though it never made it to a college football playoff game or never won an ACC championship, he has done to this football program what you wanted him to do, and now it's somebody else's turn to come in and build off of the success that he has created.
And I think last year with that matchup in that ACC championship against Clemson, that was the time to win that game. And then this season, try and re-up, doesn't work out.
Look,
you call it a career at NC.
I am very thankful for Mac Brown because Oliver Hunkapiller has went from Jacksonville State to North Carolina as the head coach, and Mac Brown left him a college football playoff team.
Okay.
So in college football 25, so I'm extremely proud of that.
Shut up.
It happened.
Second hour coming up
Number
next.
3 in the country.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half for a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win up to a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/ticket-to-the-house or rolltide.com/ticket-to-the-house. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit alamha.org.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Monday, Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer discussed the preparations for this week's game against Auburn.
Our focus turns to the Iron Bowl now, and the excitement of that. We got to make sure we're focused on the next play and only the next play. It's senior day for 19 guys. We have 10 scholarship, 9 walk-ons that we'll get a chance to recognize and celebrate that day with them. Want to send them out with a win and a great experience. Appreciate all these guys and everything they've poured into it. We got with the 10 scholarship, I think 3 special teams, 5 defense and 2 offensive guys, that are playing their senior year here. So, care a lot about those guys. I know our team does too, and want it to be a special time for them, a special week, getting ready to play the Iron Bowl.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is your home for Army football, and the #1 sports radio station in the Tennessee Valley wants to send you and a guest to see the 125th edition of America's Game, as Army and Navy will meet in our nation's capital on December 14th. It's simple. Just tell us your patriotic story or tribute, and we'll pick the one that rings red, white, and blue. And a pair of tickets to see the game will be for you. Just send your entry to 97.7 WZZN events at gmail.com. That's 97.7 WZZN events at gmail.com. Make your story count, as it's just one entry per household. So let your fingers do the talking and send us your story today. Entries must be sent to 97.7 ESPN The Zone by Friday, December 6th. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Army football. It's something special in college athletics, and we want you to be there.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This action update is brought to you by G-Bank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/Gbank.
Thanksgiving week NFL. This Thursday, the Bears visit the Lions. Chicago winless in 4 road games. The Lions 10-1, riding a 9-game winning streak on top of the NFC North. Detroit's an 11-point favorite on Thanksgiving Day. Dallas favored by 4 at home on Thursday when they take on the Giants. The Cowboys still looking for their first home win of the year. Thursday night, Green Bay's a 3-point favorite at home against the Miami Dolphins. The Packers have wins in 2 straight. One game on Friday, it'll be the Chiefs hosting the Raiders. Kansas City 5-0 at home, 10-1 overall, favored by 13.5. Vegas 2-9 on the season, 1-5 away from home. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to drop into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. Temperatures climb into the low and mid 60s Wednesday afternoon. For the most part, we're talking about a mostly cloudy to overcast sky with dry conditions. Good news if through Wednesday afternoon you're going to be traveling about the Tennessee Valley, getting last minute shopping done, or maybe to go see family and friends for the holiday. The bad news is that the rain builds into the area as we head into the later part of Wednesday evening and then through the overnight. Unfortunately, it looks like rain is going to stick with us through a good chunk of the day on Thanksgiving. We're going to be reasonably warm on Thanksgiving, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. The rain comes to an end as we head into the overnight and then early into your Black Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 97.7ESPN.com.
3, 2, 1.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, Bailey Lowery, 256-576-4977. This is the Morning Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour of the morning Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, the bandy man Bailey Lowery, standing behind that glass, taking your phone calls at 256-5764.
97.7.
As we are brought to you every single Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday too. We're just not on the air, from Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
The guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. Paul Feinbaum uses them. You should as well.
Yes, and you also have the opportunity for the next 3 hours. I will say 3 hours, being the next next hour that we have here today and from 9 to 11 tomorrow to get those wacky underdog picks in, because normally we do this on Friday, but with it being an extremely short week, you have a lot of games happening NFL-wise on Saturdays. I mean, not Saturday, but Thursday. And then you obviously have all the rivalry games. Go ahead. You can get your picks in. There are no limitations to what you pick outside of just no high school football.
Exactly. We already got Bama Brad and Natty Dan's picks in. Bama Brad picked Georgia Tech to win against Georgia. That's 19.5 points if Georgia Tech gets the win. And then Tulane and Memphis was Natty Dan's pick. And that means the Tigers need to win against the big old Green Wave to get that 14 points and push them to the top 5.
Yes. So we go back to our phone lines, 256-5764.
97.7.
As we walk with Elias.
The segment. I mean, that's just what it is.
Welcome in, man. How's it going?
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back in the show. Happy Thanksgiving week. Just in, North Carolina fired their head coach, Matt Brown.
Yeah, well, we got that one.
Yep.
It was breaking news.
No, it is. It's kind of a unique thing, man, because seriously, outside of Matt Brown, you have to go all the way back to the 80s before Matt Brown's first tenure at North Carolina to see them have the success in football that they've had underneath him.
Yeah. It's also a sad week for us Bama fans because the loss to Oklahoma. But I'm going to say this. I'm just now my predictions got messed up again. So I don't know, maybe Georgia, Texas. But I'm going to say this. They're going to do something with Alabama. With what the committee is going to do, they're probably going to put a 3-loss team into a playoff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you got South Carolina, you got Ole Miss, and you got Texas A&M and Alabama.
Yeah.
So they're going to do some sort of scenarios with those 4 teams.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I think there will be a 3-loss team in there. And as much as people said before the season, I don't know if there's a possibility. Greg Sankey and the SEC have definitely pushed for a 3-loss team if it's the case because of how challenging it can be
and
to be dominant in this conference, just because, I mean, it's the closest thing to the NFL that we got.
And with Alabama specifically, too, the AP ranked them at 13 after that loss to Oklahoma. So now it's kind of looking like right on the edge, right on the outside edge of that playoff berth. I mean, what's the playoff going to rank them tonight?
Well, and that's where I do want to
pay
attention to.
Yeah.
Is where they're going to rank, because again, if we're going based off like right now I'm putting South Carolina in over Alabama. Like I'm putting them in there with the way that they have been playing recently in the way versus Alabama. And if South Carolina beats Clemson, then I still put them in unless Alabama just comes out and beats Auburn by like 40 points.
It'd be their 4th win against a ranked opponent in a row. So just think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we beat South Carolina though.
Yeah.
The way they've been playing, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to put South Carolina over Alabama.
Yeah, and this is, and I know you're an Alabama fan, and I actually kind of applaud you for being kind of objective on that. That's kind of impressive because a lot of Alabama fans wouldn't. But it is a way of saying, like, look, if we're basing this on how these teams are playing right now, I mean, there are a few teams that you could at least throw in that discussion for that 11 or 12 spot. I mean, you could even put a potential of an Arizona State into that discussion with that as well. Like Arizona State and how well they've been playing recently, they deserve a part of that discussion if they do not win the Big 12 championship. So, Colorado losing against Kansas has totally screwed up everything that everybody was thinking, even with the Big 12, because we were almost handing this basically to Colorado with the way they've been playing recently until they did what they did in Arrowhead Saturday night.
There's going to be some way they're going to put a Big 12 team in, but there's some sort of sleeper teams that y'all been sleeping on this whole season, and it's Memphis, and they play Tulane on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's going to be some way Memphis is going to randomly sneak into the playoff conversation. By the way,
I don't know if there's a way that Memphis can just at this point of the season, but with Tulane and you go down the list with Boise State, I mean, these are two teams that you could see, obviously make their own push to the playoffs, with Tulane being a part of the American Conference. I mean, they just have a few more puzzles that they need to figure out with that win against Memphis. And then all they need is a Boise State team to lose or maybe another team to fall out.
Well, the biggest issue is there's no way for Memphis to get into the conference championship game. Like the Army Tulane conference championship is already determined. Absolutely. And right now, Memphis isn't even ranked. Again, going into tonight, Memphis is not even ranked in the AP. And so the reason why I look at this as almost as an impossible thing is the biggest way and the only path that I believe they really had to get into the college football playoff would have been through the conference championship route. And unfortunately, that's really not going to be an opportunity because they don't even have that. So that means you have to ask them, are they one of the other 7 best teams in college football at this point in time? And a lot of people are just going to say no because they're not even one of the top teams or the number 1 team in their own conference. Yeah. So, and it's with it being the AAC again, I don't believe now there is a Power 4, a Group of 5, or whatever you want to say anymore. Now with the way the college football playoff is set up, so unless they had a chance to get in the college football playoff by going through the conference route, that's the only path that I see. And since they don't have that, then I don't see another path for them.
Yeah.
Now, have they been balling out? Oh, absolutely, they've been killing it. But it's just they have 2 losses in conference, and that's their only issue. Like you can't even discuss it because of the losses to UTSA and the loss to Navy.
I still got big losses to UTSA.
No.
Yeah.
The tricky team right there. Yeah. Elias, you got a wacky underdog pick for us this week?
Underdog pick. I have Texas A&M over Texas.
Ooh,
I have South Carolina over Clemson, and I have Ohio State over Michigan.
Okay, I'm going the first one that you threw out there, and I'm going to put you down for the wacky underdog pick. So, because that one honestly is an intriguing one, Texas A&M versus Texas. Appreciate you calling in, Elias. Good stuff from you, man.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too, man. And I think that look, even the Texas A&M game, Texas is only a 6-point favorite in that. No. So, you know, I know that I've already said that I've got South Carolina over Clemson. I've said for like the last 2 or 3 weeks that I've got this.
Why wouldn't you at this point, man?
I'm like, look, if this line comes out and they are a dog, then just go ahead and give me South Carolina in this. I don't care that this game is happening at Clemson. So, and that is now I want, and what we're going to be judging a lot of things on is going to be based on what the College Football Playoff Committee says tonight, because now you're getting into that part where, yes, the 3 lost teams are a massive part of this discussion. And you have to truly start looking at, you know, you assume if Tennessee and Georgia both, you know, continue to win, then okay, they're in this no matter what happens in the SEC championship game for Georgia. But then you also have to look at the Clemson-Miami scenario, depending on what happens with Miami this weekend. You also then have to start looking at, okay, you know, and the Ole Miss, them possibly being a 3-loss team, but I don't think that they're playing better than South Carolina is right now. The Arizona State portion of this as well, because they have an opportunity to make it in as well. And we literally, nobody's talked about Arizona State all season.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise to see them kind of just appear within the playoff predictor, and now seeing them up there.
Look, they're the number 1 team in the Big 12 right now.
And that's crazy to me.
And because of the way the rankings are looking right now, they could also be one of the top 4 teams and get a bye.
Yeah,
coming up in the college football playoff as well.
Just imagine if the Pac-12 was still around. Oh, jeez, Pac-12.
Yeah,
doing great things all over.
Doing great things, both of them.
Even the
Oregon State with that 5-6 record, hoisting up that banner that they got to hoist up Saturday night.
They got the Big 12 or the Pac-12 champion. They're the best of the best. Jeez, let's hop back into the phone lines. Steeler Mike is on with us. Steeler Mike, how you doing, man?
What's going on, fellas? You guys doing okay?
Wonderful, man.
Doing good.
I'll guarantee you this, fellas. I don't know about y'all, but I'll have the best seat in the world for the Iron Bowl on Saturday and the Steelers-Bengals on Sunday. I'll be in the Grill Jamaica, fellas.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely not going to feel like that Steelers-Bengals game is going to be, because, wow, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, but I have 2 wacky predictions and then 1 guarantee, fellas.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Oh, a guarantee.
Oh, I like guarantees.
All right.
We're going with
like
the
a guarantee.
All right, we'll hear you out, though.
The lock is at the end, fellas.
All right.
Number 1, Georgia Tech pulls the upset.
Okay.
Definitely doable.
And then easy. I'm taking Texas A&M.
Do you think that this Texas A&M offense is going to be able to get past this Texas defense? Because that's where Texas A&M's kind of been struggling, even though they were able to put up quite a bit against Auburn's D.
I think Texas is a fraud. I think Ole Miss is a fraud.
See that?
I think the biggest travesty in this whole college football thing happened last week, and I think it worked itself out. But they completely ignored Ole Miss getting beat at home by Kentucky. They ignored it. And that happened on the field, man. And so I'm sorry. That was ignored.
Yeah, kind of like how they ignored Notre Dame and Northern Illinois.
That's been ignored
sure
too.
Did.
Still being
They sure
ignored.
did.
Yeah.
Now, the lock of the weekend, fellas,
all right,
in the next, I'm going to say 24 to 36 hours. Jeff from the Borough is going to say something really stupid. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Appreciate you, Taylor Mike. We had a chance for that actually today.
We had him on hold. The phone line, he hung up literally 10 seconds before we came back.
He couldn't hang on long enough.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. I mean,
what do I put him down? I mean, he had two wacky picks, but which one do I put him down for?
I always go with the one that is going to be the crazier one. I think the Georgia Tech Georgia one's the crazier one. And the only reason I say this is Sealer Mike, feel free to call back in at 256-5764
977
to correct me on that. But I think you're putting yourself out there to think that Georgia Tech is going to go into Athens and at night on Black Friday. And by the way, if Georgia's not doing a blackout on Friday night, they have literally totally missed an amazing opportunity. But to go into Athens on Friday night, 6:30 kickoff, the game is on ABC. The entire nation is going to be watching. And I think that to think that Georgia Tech can come in and do this is out there.
I agree.
The only reason I would say he could possibly be right is if this game was being played in Atlanta, very similar to what Miami did.
I got you.
It's the only reason I would say.
No, I agree with you. The wackier, the better. And honestly, this is definitely a little bit wackier, I would say, than the Texas A&M Texas game. There is definitely a possibility for both of these games going the opposite way with Georgia Tech and the way that they've looked against some opponents. This is the lone team that has beaten, of course, Miami. This is also the first team that showed us that Florida State's absolutely trash. And, of course, we saw that in Dublin.
So that being said, Georgia Tech, we apologize for thinking that your win against Florida State was a fluke.
Yep.
We apologize for thinking, like, how on earth was this team going to beat Miami? And so I'm going to go ahead and apologize if coming up on Monday when we come back, I have to say, Georgia Tech, I apologize for not believing in you for yet a third time this season. I am very sorry.
And regarding like the Texas A&M Texas game, I got a little faith in A&M.
Yeah.
But
guys,
here's the big part. They're allowing about 361 passing yards a game.
It's crazy that their defense was doing really well at the beginning of the season.
And what does Texas have?
A really good defense.
A really good defense. Good wide receivers.
And Quinn Ewers.
Guys, I'm telling you.
And if they don't have Quinn Ewers, they have a Manning.
Yeah, that is true.
Texas A&M, Kyle Field at night against the team that has literally been dodging you for over a decade.
It's way more doable.
No.
It's way more doable than that Georgia Tech game.
It's like,
they have been dodging Texas A&M. There's been numerous times where A&M tried to get this game back, and Texas would not do it.
I know. I was about to lead into that. It's like on paper, like the stats don't favor A&M, but like you said, Kyle Field, night game, one of the toughest places to play in college football. You have not played these guys in over a decade in football?
Since they left the Big 12 and went to the SEC in 2012.
The only reason I say that it's going to be tough is because this is a Texas A&M team that has lost their last two SEC games.
It's because they've been focusing on Texas. Elko even said that.
It's probably very much true. They lost to South Carolina.
Okay.
They lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
And now they're going in and they're facing off against the Texas team that is looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, look, I'm not even saying this Texas A&M Texas game isn't only must watch. Midnight Yale at obviously midnight on Black Friday is must watch.
Okay,
you think a lot of A&M fans?
I've never watched a Midnight Yale.
And look, Midnight Yale, the SEC Network Plus would put Midnight Yale on like obviously on the streaming network. Whenever I want to say the first time they did it was for Alabama, Texas A&M, when Alabama was going in there after the upset. It was on September 11th, 2013. The game was absolutely amazing, but they put Midnight Yell on for everybody to watch. I sat there and watched the entire Midnight Yell. If SEC Network and ESPN wants to have huge streaming numbers on Black Friday into Saturday, you put Midnight Yell on the streaming service, and I promise you, people are going to watch this.
Oh, and the memes would be circulating Twitter like crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Yell leaders creep me out.
They do. No, they
creep me out.
I'm right there with you, Bandy. That whole ritual that they do. That's sacrilege right there.
I mean, it's just
there's a reason they get made fun of on SEC Shorts.
I know, you know the vibe, the people. I don't know, what they're called officially, but the people who come to your house and it's like, hey, have you heard about the word of Jesus
They're called
Christ?
Mormons, man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the Mormons
and Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what they're called.
That's what they remind me of.
How many of those guys did you have come up to your house?
Actually, zero.
I
haven't had one yet.
Yeah.
Actually, you to live beside a Jehovah's Witness. She was extremely nice.
Okay.
Very nice people. They're not annoying at all. They're really, really nice.
Yeah.
It's just,
they are.
we just now in America have this really weird thing about somebody knocking on your door randomly. You just automatically shut everything off, kill the power in your house, flip the switches on your breakers like you're not alive.
It's like,
it's not. It wasn't COVID's fault.
No,
just people want.
No, it's just anxiety automatically hops up to your up and makes you just want to pass out because you automatically think you've done something wrong.
Yeah, it's like if I get a knock on my door and I'm not expecting it, I don't want whoever's out there to come.
Dude,
in.
if I get a phone call and I'm not expecting it, I don't want it. Okay. Every one of you, anybody that calls me, I am not going to answer the phone if you didn't say, "Hey man, can I talk to you in just a minute?" Yeah, sure, no problem.
With the amount of times that Tom calls me, I'm very much used to those unexpected calls. Either way, we'll take it to break, and you guys can keep calling in 256-5764-977.
Dennis and Dale, hold on, brothers.
Yeah, we'll get to you guys as we get back here on the Morning Blitz.
The Iron Bowl began in 1893. It is November, so it's time for another Iron Bowl. We'll get you up to date on the latest, hearing from both coaches and reliving some of the more memorable moments from past Iron Bowls. 1996.
Two wideouts right, two wideouts left. Shotgun, Kitchens gets the snap, throws left middle, makes the grab 5, angles right 3, 2, 1. Touchdown! 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 With 26 seconds to go. This Iron Bowl is tied at 23, and it's for the Tide to win it with an extra point. Out of the snap of Chester Lewis and the hold of Lance Tucker. The snap is there, the hold is there, the kick is up, the kick is good! And Alabama, with 26 seconds remaining, has taken a 24-23 lead on the Auburn Tigers. Bama win on what will be a most emotional night in Crimson Tide football history.
Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half for a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win up to a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/tickettothehouse or rolltide.com/tickettothehouse. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit alamha.org.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Keep holding on when my brain's ticking like a bomb. Guess the black dogs have come again to get me. Sweet
You should see if you can play multiplayer on that Japanese baseball game.
Dude, that game, I will tell you, I will not. I don't think I'll play another game at the end of the rest of the year until MLB The Show comes out. MLB The Show last night sent me an email that says, hey, Joe Hunk, we would like for you to take our survey and critique MLB The Show 25 this year. I went, dude, you guys sent this email at the wrong time. Y'all should have sent this thing last week.
No, they sent it at the perfect time because now you can give them all the intel of what the Japanese do to their baseball.
It's like I'm right there with you. Like I got one game I'm locked into. I don't know if I'm going to be playing another one.
So they're asking you all these questions of, do you want this in the game? Do you not? Then at the end, it gives you that critique of, is there anything else you would like to add? Why, yes, there is. As a matter of fact, your game is garbage compared to Pro Baseball Spirits 24-25. And we need you to stop making this game for old consoles. Make this new gen only. Utilize the PS5 the way that it should, and make this game look good in the way that you want it and we want it to look.
I agree.
Stop giving us only like 5 classic stadiums. Okay. Yep. Nobody wanted to play at Turner Field when it was really active. Stop giving us Turner Field now.
Yes. Bring back. Oh my god!
It was so amazing this year because they added the Kingdome this year, and I'm like, this is it.
And
it's
also,
still active though.
And also, why is it in every sports game now?
It's still active.
But like the historical teams they have just seem to get less and less as they keep going. Like they keep adding less and less historical teams. Add more.
Yes, dude. I'm telling you, the one thing about NBA 2K is amazing is when you throw out the 76ers against the Bad Boy Pistons.
Yes.
And the look of the game, it looks like an 80s television. Like it looked awesome. Do that.
It's an active fire range.
But dude, I'm telling you, last night, Pro Baseball Spirit started my franchise with the Henshin Tigers.
Oh yeah.
First series is against the Tokyo Giants, man, and I'm like, crap.
What was the first word you could understand? I want to hear that.
Oh no! So we go 12 innings, nothing. Their ace, my ace, Sayaki. I've already struck out 15 guys. They've struck out 18 guys. The Japanese play-by-play guys are going crazy. I'm like, I have no clue of one single word you guys have said all game. And then at the very end of this, the Tokyo Giants, I threw a fastball high and tight, thinking I could get it past the guy, hits a bomb in dead center field. I had not understood one single word of this broadcast until the guy rounded third base, and all I hear is sayonara! And I'm like, son of a mother. Yes, I know what that means.
That means goodbye.
Yes. Sayonara baseball! Okay, he hit ball far. I get it, okay?
There you go. Translation easy. As we hop back into the phone lines after, I'm going to say this, Joe, you're probably in like 3 weeks. We're going to see Joe just come in here with a bunch of Japanese merch.
Dude, they don't sell their gear. Like, how hard is it to find?
You can find
I can find it, but I want the on-field hat. The Tigers on-field hat looks so cool.
Hey, I'm sorry. Did it sound a little bit something like this?
Yes. Sayonara!
I love how out of all the English he knows, that's the sentence that he decided to throw at everybody listening
God,
to that
cannot
broadcast.
believe that.
Wonderful stuff.
Cannot believe it.
Back to the phone lines we go. Bandy, who do we got first?
We got Dennis up first. What's going on, Dennis?
Fellas, how y'all doing today?
Doing good, Dennis. How about you, man?
Pretty good.
Doing good. I just saw just a minute ago Mac Brown's been let go at North Carolina.
Yep.
Yep, he's going to coach the last game for NC State. They've not figured out if he's going to coach the bowl game yet or not, but he is stepping away as the head coach for North Carolina.
Well, one name to keep out for that job is Jamie Chadwell at Liberty.
So I actually found a list because, again, Dennis, I know you, man. I knew you were going to ask this. So I found a list of the names that are already kind of the names to look out for. Jamie Chadwell is one of the names that is on this list. Dan Mullen is on the list. Glenn Schumann, who is the defensive coordinator for Georgia, is on the list. Matt Campbell at Iowa State, because, I mean, finally, I think his buyout isn't as, $15 million like it used to be. John Summerall, who's the head coach at Tulane, is one for this. And then here's the interesting one for me, Dennis. Rhett Lashley.
Really?
Rhett Lashley at SMU. That one's interesting.
And he is also, too, I was going to let you know, Joe, East Carolina hired the interim coach, Blake Hamill, to be the new coach at East Carolina now. So like, they're playing a little better at the end of the year and all that. I like A&M to beat Texas 23-17.
Oh, look at Dennis throwing out an underdog pick.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Aggies, brother. I hate Texas.
All right. Yes, sir.
I fully get you, man.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I was going to ask you something too, man. I want to ask you, realistically, AEW wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
How long's Tony Khan going to last? I was wondering if you ever met Tony Khan before.
I actually got to meet him in February. As a matter of fact, I got to meet him at Radio Row.
What was that like?
He is an amazing fan. You can tell he's a huge fan. And one thing that he and I talked about a lot was the storytelling and long-term storytelling. And even after I got finished with the interview with him, like he and I stood off to the side and we talked for like another 20 minutes about like wrestling and everything involved with it and everything that's going on with it. He is an absolutely amazing person. He is. And I think that his biggest flaw right now is kind of very similar to what WCW is, where he's relying way too much on the old WWE names. And I think that where WWE is being very smart now with this WWE ID is they're trying to take away his connection to the independent wrestling scene. And I think that that's where he needs to go back to, and he needs to start developing young talent again.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I'm going to tell you something. Thank God Vince McMahon's gone from wrestling. I never liked that guy.
Did you watch the documentary?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it on Netflix, man. That thing is absolutely amazing.
I didn't like that. I didn't like what he did when he bought the shares. Vince McMahon got the shares from Georgia Championship Wrestling from Ole Anderson when Jack and Jerry Briscoe and Jim Barnett, that guy that owned World Championship Wrestling in Georgia.
Yep.
And he also owned it in Australia before that. And Ole went after Vince pretty good, him and Linda. Man, he cussed Linda out and everything. And
wait, are you talking back like 1982? Is that what you're talking about?
84.
84.
July 14th. That's my mom's birthday. I was 16 years old, and it was strange when to change a program from Benny Mac from Gordon Soley, and when Gordon Soley wasn't on there no more. Of course, he still did championship wrestling from Florida. Later on, he did colonial wrestling for Ron Fuller in Alabama and all that. So I tell you, I hope AEW succeeds. I hope NWA with Billy Corgan succeeds. We need competition. If you have just one company doing everything, that's not good for wrestling in any kind of business and all that. So, Joe, all I got to say is roll tide, go Troy Trojans. Have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you.
All right. See you, Dennis.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Dennis is a huge Bama fan, obviously, and a huge Troy Trojans fan is as well on that. So, yes, it is the thing about going back to what he was initially talking about, the Rhett Lashley part of this to me is so incredibly interesting because the path that Rhett Lashley has taken just to get to where he is now, where SMU is going to be playing in the conference championship game for the ACC. Sweet. Like, think about this. He was obviously at Auburn under Gus Malzahn. He decides to leave and go to UConn to be the offensive coordinator because obviously you leave Auburn to go to UConn for the exact same position.
Get me the hell out of here.
Yeah, basically it's really what it was. Well, in the whole time that Rhett Lashley was there with Gus Malzahn, there was always the thought of, oh, it's cute that you're here, but Gus is really the play caller. Yeah. Like you were not the mind behind this. So he had to go somewhere. He had to do it his way. He leaves UConn. He goes to SMU the first time to be the OC. Then he leaves there and goes to Miami to be the OC. And then he leaves Miami to go be the head coach at SMU back in the state of Texas. And now he has built that program up, not only, when they were not part of the Big 12, but now as a part of when they were a group of 5, now into the ACC. And arguably, if he was still in the group of 5, you would be naming him as one of those hot must-see coaches that could be taking one of these big jobs here in the future. Like, can Rhett Lashley be the one that turns USC around? Like, that's the conversation you would be talking about with him. And so now to see, could Rhett Lashley be the one that finally gets Oklahoma State to be the premier team in the Big 12? Like, those are the conversations you would have. And I think it's because we have forgotten so far back from when he left Auburn that Rhett Lashley, basically, speaking of wrestling and tying this all back together with what Dennis was saying, he went that Cody Rhodes route. He went on his own. He went to the Indies, UConn. He then started to slowly build himself back up. He did that like what he did with AEW. And then he took what he did with AEW and he's turned it into the career that he now has with WWE. And that is what Rhett Lashley is kind of doing with SMU, where he's taken SMU from the group of 5. They're now part of the Power 4. And now he could be one of the hottest coaches in college football going into this hiring season because of what he's done at SMU. And look, this isn't just like it's his first time doing this, because 2 years ago in 2022, he finished the season 7-6 when they were still a part of the AAC. Then last year, SMU was 11-3, and this year they're 10-1, and they have an opportunity of playing the college football playoff. Like, that is a massive, massive turnaround for an SMU program that has basically been dead since the death penalty.
No, it definitely is. And Joe, I don't know exactly where you want to go from that, but it shows you there are some coaches out there that still have that growth ahead of them. As we saw, even Alabama's head coach, it's a similar scenario. Of course, he gets to Washington, and that was that big job that he really needed to make. He was, of course, at Fresno State, helped rebuild that squad, and whenever he was in Washington, bringing a team from the ground up, with little to no recruiting on that squad compared to the teams over in the SEC. And then, of course, now getting his shot with the Crimson Tide. And in his first season, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'll say regardless of what happened, it's a success with the team that he's had. 9-3 in his first year in the SEC, not too bad.
Well, no, and I think that with DeBoer, regardless as to what happens on Saturday, let's just take that out, because I know a lot of Alabama fans will obviously grade that on here.
Yeah.
His first season in Alabama, I do think there have been points in time this year where he's gotten punched in the face. Yeah. And I'm not talking about literally. I'm talking about he's went into games thinking, hey, well, wait a second. This worked for us at Washington. This is kind of what we did. This is the game plan we went with, and it doesn't work. And I think that especially like with what happened against Oklahoma, look, losing to Oklahoma may have actually been a better thing for Alabama than beating Oklahoma, because now DeBoer was forced with stepping back and telling Jalen Milroe, you need to calm down. I talk about this with Will Levis so often, as the thing with Will Levis is you have to pull the reins back on the horse, man. I would much rather have a wild horse than having one that I gotta get the whip and just pop it just to get him going a little bit faster. Like, come on, you can go, you can run just a little bit more. No, I want the one that I can pull the reins back on. And with Milroe, you saw it against Oklahoma, where he was making dumb plays that he had already predetermined that's what he was going to do. Yeah. And with his mind, and it's a whole mental side of this, it's not the physical trend. It's not the physical ability. Because again, we talked about it on Tom's show yesterday. PFF has him as the number 1 quarterback in the draft, ahead of Shadir Sanders, ahead of Cam Ward. And it's because of the physical attributes. It's the mental side of this for Milroe that he's got to fix. Because again, when you drop back and you're running a wide receiver screen, if there's 2 Oklahoma players standing in front of the intended wide receiver, you don't throw it.
You may want to hold on.
Like that is already, your mind has been made up that I am making this throw, and that's what's going to happen. And instead, you need to do more of like what he did with LSU, where it's like, look, the complaining that I've made all season about Auburn, the complaining that Alabama fans have made about Milroe, the changes that you try to make, you don't do that now in the final week of the regular season. You let them be who they are. Like, just you do what you do to get us a win. That's all it's about. Because from here on out, and arguably even last week, it's all about the dub. It is not about let's make sure that you are reading your defenses better and doing this. Do what you are most comfortable with that you know will put this team in the best position to win. That's what Milroe needs to do. Yeah. And if it's make one read and run, then make one read and run. If it's to dump it off away because you've got 6 defensive linemen on the line and you're making sure that you can't run the football, so you need to dump it off to somebody. If there's 8 guys in the box, that means that your wide receivers are one-on-one on the outside. It's easy to read. Well, it's easy.
Before we go into break, talk about what Auburn needs to do. What would that thing that Hugh Freeze needs to let his players just kind of be themselves with in this matchup against Alabama?
And the thing with Peyton Thorne, again, I bashed him all season. Mm-hmm. This is not the time now to try to change something, to got to do, hey, we need to do this. You're not as good at this. With Peyton Thorne, what he needs to do is very similar to Milroe. Get the ball out of your hands and get it to your playmakers. Just get it to your playmakers, whether it is Lambert Smith, whether it is Cam Coleman at the wide receiver position, hand it off to Hunter, whatever you need to do.
Even a dump off pass to Hunter.
Even the dump off pass to Hunter. Get the ball out of your hands and do not turn it over. I'm okay if you run it for 4 yards as long as you don't fumble after that 4 yards, because now it's 2nd and 6 or it's 3rd and 2, and then you're moving and you're progressing the drive. This is, as much as I bash Hugh Freeze and as much as I bash Peyton Thorne, this is not the moment for change. This is not that time where you're saying, okay, now let's go ahead and put Walker White in, or now let's Hank Brown be the one. No, you have your players, you know what they're doing successfully. And like with Cam Coleman, get Cam Coleman involved as soon as you possibly can. He and Jarquez Hunter are going to be the keys to Auburn offensively coming up on Saturday, because when Cam Coleman gets involved early, he's engaged through the whole game. You saw that throughout early in the season. When he wasn't being engaged early, that's when you started seeing him kind of go lackadaisical, started getting frustrated, not doing as much later on in the game. And so you get him involved early, and in doing so, either it's going deep to him so that Alabama knows that you're not afraid to go deep, and or doing screen passes, quick plays to him over the middle so that he can try to bust it. And that in turn will then open up lanes for Jarquez Hunter. The problem is very similar to what Oklahoma is going to do with Alabama, or did with Alabama on Saturday. They said, we were going to stop Jalen Milroe. If he's going to beat us, he's got to beat us throwing the ball, and it's not going to be to Ryan Williams. So now you have to make a decision. If Ryan Williams is your number one option, you're now going to have to go to the other two. And Jalen Milroe wasn't able to run because that's one of his first 2 decisions. Exactly. And so that's the reason why I kept getting popped. Flip it around. What Auburn is going to need to do is they need to go ahead and use the pass and get Cam Coleman and get Lambert Smith involved early, so that makes Alabama back off and opens up the lanes for Jarquez Hunter to start getting those big 7 and 8 yard gains like he can get.
I agree. I mean, Williams is that first read on a pass play, and then it's that run now at this point in the season for Auburn. You look at them. If they get Cam Coleman involved early, that opens up, of course, an Alabama team that is going to focus on Cam Coleman, focus on the run game, because, of course, Jarquez Hunter, it is the biggest thing about this team. I think it is the identity of this team.
Almost quite literally.
If it wants to find success, no, you're not wrong about that. But it also opens up an opportunity for Lambert Smith to, of course, be that number one going into the end of the game. And I think there's nothing wrong with any of that, because you're getting it to your studs regardless.
I'm not saying that this is going to be the 2014 Iron Bowl where it's 55-44.
No.
But what I am saying is that you have Lambert Smith and Cam Coleman could be Sammy Coates and Duke Williams. Like as in 120 yards receiving, 150 yards receiving, 200 yards if you need it because they break a big one. That's what you're going to need to do to have an opportunity to win this game. Because what people forget is that Cameron Artis-Payne came into that, and he had over 100 yards of offense as well because of the way that this game was happening on the receiving side of it. So if you want Jarquez Hunter to be involved, then you're going to need to get Coleman and Lambert Smith involved early through the passing game.
I think we all know that Ryan Williams is also going to play a pretty big role, but for Alabama to find that success,
Ryan Williams ain't nothing,
and win this game, jeez, Riddick, what are you talking about?
Sorry, I just had to say
it's
it.
Totally fine. The run game is going to have to appear at some point in this season, and I think this is definitely the game to do it as you push forward to the playoffs. But let's regroup, hop into a break. When we get back, we got some dogs of the week to get into. That's right, Joe Hunk. When we get back here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Rich Eisen here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join us all season long as we get you ready for primetime NFL action every Monday night. Along with Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, and the entire Westwood One team will take you inside the locker rooms and the stadiums for exclusive previews and all the play-by-play action. Every week on Monday Night Football.
Right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, wrapping up the morning Blitz coming up at noon. Tom Abraham's show, Beat the Big Dog, is coming up. Dale, we're about to go to you here in just a bit, so if you give us a call back, 256-576-4977, you can hop in as well, get that wacky underdog pick that we are going all the way through the end of the show tomorrow. So if you weren't able to get in today, you can do so tomorrow as well, starting at 9 o'clock here on the Morning Blitz.
Yeah, and we're going to hop right into the fun of things. Actually, the fun things aren't even going to be the dogs of the week. It's going to be how much this Home Alone house is going for.
During the break, John walks back in the studio. I was like, dang, man, the Home Alone studio is up for sale. He's like, how much is it? And I just put my earbuds in.
I know.
Because he knew, I mean, I'm
right.
not going to tell you off the air. So I was going to wait till on the air to tell you about it.
How surprised am I going to be? Where is it, first off, located?
It is Winnetka, Illinois? Winnetka, Illinois.
I'd say Winnetka, yeah.
671 Lincoln Avenue in Winnetka, Illinois.
All right.
5 bedrooms, 6 bath, 9,100 square feet.
Had to be big to fit all those kids. I mean, come
And
on
family
now.
and cousins
Yeah.
and uncles.
That was a big house.
What you did, you little jerk. And so, what would you guys like to guess the Home Alone house is being sold for?
All right. Do we have a date on when it was like made in the first place, or was it made?
Oh no, it was made when Macaulay Culkin started running around the house. That's when this house was made, because that house made millions.
Yeah. I'm gonna say at this point, I'm gonna say it's going for $3.5 million.
Bandy?
I heard him do that. Twice.
We'll go $4 million.
$4 million. All right.
$5.25 million is what this house is going for. It was fully renovated and expanded in 2018. I mean, Macaulay Culkin probably had some kids at some point in time. Kevin McAllister got tired of living up in the attic. He said the current owners take the utmost care in maintaining the architectural detail and integrity of the home's most memorable and recognizable spaces. The gracious foyer and unforgettable entry staircase, as well as the formal living and dining room spaces, have remained largely unchanged in form and structure since the movie came out.
Alvin! Why is that the first thing that came to my mind?
That's Alvin and the Chipmunks, man.
Why is it the first thing that came to my mind, though? when
That
I
is
think of
Alvin
movie?
and the Chipmunks.
Did a parent, I think a parent yelled at one point.
Yes, Kevin!
There it is. There it is.
Who forgets that? She's in the middle of like Paris. Kevin!
Kevin! Sorry, I get it mixed up with.
We did it again! Like, come on.
They gotta stop. They gotta stop. But hey, Trump was in that second movie.
He was in
I
that.
like the second one a
Excuse
little
me,
bit
sir.
better.
Can you show me where the lobby is?
Yes.
Right this way, young
It's
man.
behind the wall.
Yeah, I've seen this movie way too many times.
Just go down that hallway. It's a very nice hallway.
Yes, and by the way,
it's the best hallway.
If we're talking about crazy things that you would die on a hill for, Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1.
Oh, it is.
Home
I
Alone
think
2
so.
better than Home Alone 1.
I haven't seen him in so long. I can't tell you.
I like the
Home Alone 2 is so
adventure
much fun.
aspect to it. The adventure makes it a little bit better.
He's on top of the World Trade Center. I mean, that alone is awesome and eerie at the exact same time.
Yup.
Because where he was, you couldn't actually get to. So they let him go there. Told you, seen this movie a little bit too much. Also, every single Tuesday, we give you the opportunity to let us just kind of know a little bit. Do you have the music ready for this? Because, I know that I'm about to be barking really loud for the remainder of the show over the course of the next 6 minutes. But this is your opportunity to get in your dog of the week. The next 6 minutes is going to be filled with the dog of the dogs. Woo! Woo! We want to know who your dog of the week is. 256-5764.
97.7.
All right, go let you guys go first.
Okay.
And tell us who your dogs were this week.
Don't worry, Bandy. You're gonna go first this time.
Okay, we're actually gonna go to the basketball. We're gonna go to
Totally
the
cool.
hard court.
It's totally cool.
The New York Knicks ended up routing the Denver Nuggets 145 to 118.
That sucks.
The dog of the week, OG Anunoby on the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
40 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds as a whole. 16 for 23 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. This was a routing by New York against Denver.
Absolute dog. Yeah, I heard you
Absolute
wrong.
dog.
Go Knicks. I did not watch. I have not watched that much NBA.
You need to
but,
look at Mike Tomlin's press conference after. He was not happy.
Mike Tomlin?
Yeah.
Steelers coach?
Not Mike Tomlin. Who am I thinking of?
I'm sorry.
He was so involved.
Malone.
Yeah.
Malone.
I got involved
Carl?
after you brought up Mike Tomlin. I wanna
not
know.
Carl Malone?
Mike Malone.
All right.
The mailman was angry.
So I feel like I might get a lot of backlash if I don't throw this guy out there. I don't know if he's my dog of the week, and I might just leave this for you, Joe. But I don't know exactly where you're going. But he's not my dog of the week. But I will have to give a little bit of props.
He's your dog of the week. Go ahead.
come
You
on.
look, if you're going to say his name, you're going to have to say his name.
Fine.
You got to say it's my dog of the
Say
week.
it. Say
I'm not going with Saquon Barkley. Instead, I'm going with Devin Neal. Kansas running back, 4 total touchdowns, 287 yards in the win over Colorado. This guy was the heart of this Kansas Jayhawks football team.
Yeah, and Colorado couldn't stop him.
They could not stop
Look,
him. A lick.
Again, if you want to make the college football playoff, when there's a minute and a half to go and you need to get the football back and you know what Kansas is going to be doing, stop them. Stop them. Don't Travis Hunter wanting to throw up the Heisman sign in the end zone after he scores his second touchdown.
Goofy.
Like, that's great for you. Congrats. But guess what? At this point in time, right now, you are going to be heading to whatever the first tier bowl is for the Big 12, like the Alamo Bowl.
Yep.
You're not going to be heading to the first round.
The Rely Quest Bowl.
Yeah, like you're not going to. Like just like Alabama, if you're not making the college football playoff, congratulations. You're going back to Orlando and you're going back to the Citrus Bowl.
Since I haven't talked about Devin Neal the entire time I've done the show, by the way, I wanted to throw out his stats for this season. 199 attempts, 1,133 yards, and a nice 15 15 touchdowns just on the ground alone. On top of that, he's got a touchdown receiving as well as 249 yards. I mean, across his career, this guy's an absolute beast. He's been consistent over 1,000 yards almost every single season, and he's been hitting that 16, 15 mark for the last 2 years in a row. So just want to give that guy a little bit of love for my dog of the week.
And so I honestly thought that one of you two was going to go with this guy. So I also had a backup pick. Okay, but first, my backup pick for this week is actually Tua Tagovailoa.
So that's the one he's going with.
No.
It's
The backup pick. I was telling you, this is the reason I want to at least make sure that he's mentioned.
So I had to say a backup pick for Saquon Barkley.
So here's the thing: 29 of 40, 317 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns. The Dolphins just won their 3rd game in the row. They are now 5-6. Their remaining schedule at Green Bay, Jets at home, Texans at home, 49ers, Browns, and Jets. That is a very, very winnable 6 games that they still have remaining in this.
Much is.
And when everybody thought the Miami Dolphins were dead, they may not be.
No, they are not.
No, I've seen so many of the tweets. Like there was one that caught my eye.
Yeah, it's all based on the head of Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, that he got
legitimately.
that he got a factory reset.
Yes. This all does come down to him. Like, this comes down to the health of Tua and him being able to stay on the field. If he can stay on the field, this Dolphins team can beat any one of these teams that they have left, including the 49ers, even if the 49ers are healthy.
No, yeah, and I think it shows that he has a factory reset, because now he's actually passing it to his tight end, Jonnu Smith, as well. So he's had quite a few great games in a row.
Bandy, ask him why he brought up Jonnu Smith.
Hey, why did you bring up Johnny Smith?
I think I picked him up in fantasy football. I knew it. He wasn't just doing it because he's like, this guy's been playing well. I want to make sure that I mention him.
Finally, I got a tight end that's actually putting in the work.
Yeah, it was. He's saying it because he actually won his fantasy football game this week in our league.
I'm so mad. If I had in, oh my gosh, if I had in the Arizona tight end instead of TJ Hawkinson, I would have won.
Is it Zach Ertz? I don't even know at this point. Zach Ertz might play on the Commanders. I'm not sure.
It's not Zach Ertz.
Okay.
Hold on, I got time. Oh, maybe ESPN, load up, hurry, please.
You looking for Zach Ertz?
No, I'm not looking for Zach Ertz. Who am I looking for? Roster, please.
Zach Ertz does play on the Washington Commanders.
Trey McBride.
That's what.
Yeah,
there you go.
Trey McBride.
Trey McBride.
I don't know. I get mixed up with those two red teams. Do you actually have who is your main one though? Your main dog?
Auburn wide receiver Cam Coleman, 128 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 7 catches. Hugh Freeze finally saw him on the field and said, you know what? Let's get that guy the ball.
That's awesome.
Let's get that guy the ball. If he has that stat line against Alabama this weekend, Auburn's winning.
How none of us picked Saquon Barkley as their main dog?
Because it was too obvious.
302 yards altogether.
I looked at Neil.
Franchise record right there. The most since Josh Jacobs back in 2022. Rushing touchdowns of 70 and 72 yards, 2 of the 3 longest runs of Barkley's career in the same game.
If Cam Coleman has 128 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns this Saturday, Auburn wins.
And I'll give him the dog of the week next week. See ya.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch,